iFlight in Russian military video. And I think what we should start, Blunty, is we should just show some of the video.
Sure.
So, is it this Stemenko?
No, the first one would be, I believe, the one you were looking for.
Did you
right?
find it on YouTube? Oh, no, that's...
I-
No, that's the wrong one.
Well, that's the one from the Ukrainian person. So I don't know what we were looking for.
I am going to have to... Shoot. No, I don't want to show... I'm sorry. I thought we had... It's the wrong one. Let me grab the right link, which I have somewhere very handy.
Okay.
I hope. I thought that was... It's a different Twitter link is the one that I wanted. I've got it right here. So this shows the original, the actual video. And should we get some sound in here as well? Sure, why not? So this is from Djurik Zlatko. I don't know. Oh, here we go. I don't know who this person is, but we should figure we should attribute this. I don't know the original source of this video, but when you watch it, you'll see pretty quickly why people freaked the fuck out. Here we go. Very intriguing. Got a Radio Master Zorro there.
Одна из партий дронов, собранных в рамках проекта «Орой возмездия» и поступивших
Oh, well, wait a second. What the hell is that?
подразделения южной группировки
All right, we'll
войск.
show just a little
Эти
more of the
аппараты
video.
предназначены для уничтожения живой силы и техники противника. У нас
I
подготовлено
have no idea what this
достаточное
guy's saying. I
количество
don't speak.
расчетов боевых
I assume
дронов,
this is Russian.
необходимых для ежедневного поражения живой силы и техники противника, включая поставленную с Западом. Враг будет разбит. Победа будет за нами.
All right. And then we cut to here, and I'm not going to show the actual combat footage because some people out there don't want to see that, and I'm not interested in forcing them to see that. But this caused quite an uproar.
Yeah, just to be clear, people are asking in the chat. Part of that is green screened, obviously, right?
Well, it's interesting you say that. So, okay, let's take that first. I reached out to Ren from Corridor Digital, Ren Weichman, who I worked with on a previous video where he put a Nerf gun on a drone. And I said, Ren, there are parts of this that look fake to me. Can you you're a visual effects artist, you're an expert, can you just give me your personal opinion? And he said, oh, I didn't put this in the video that I recorded because I didn't really ask him, can I reference you? But just between us on the news, I'll tell it. He said he thinks it's legit, in short. He said at first he thought that the military guys looked like Unreal Engine assets, but the way that the guy puts the goggles down on his face, he said would be pretty much impossible to fake with like 3D assets. He said it basically the guys are real. And he said in most of the shots, the drones look real, but there are some shots which have like really weird perspective. Like these shots and what he guessed was that they shot these guys with a long telephoto lens with a slightly downward facing perspective to highlight the drones in the background. I can tell you, I personally did my best to count the number of rows and columns and cross-checked in between the shots to see if there were inconsistencies. And as far as I can tell, there are no inconsistencies. So actually, the shots of the guys in the warehouse seem real and not green screen. It's just they shot it in a weird way that triggers your fake detector.
I mean,
Okay.
I think all of them look legit to me except there's the guy with the goggles seems totally fake because the drones are moving behind him.
Yeah, but the camera is kind of rotating around. It's a parallax thing.
I don't know. Maybe that's true, but yeah.
So what has people freaking out? What has people freaking out is that this appears to be. I've tried to count them as best I can, and in the closer shots, the top-down shots, you can get a pretty good count. And based on those shots, I estimate they have a minimum of 400 of these drones. They have more because there's some drones outside the shot, but the shot kind of scrolls down. Both Ren and I looked for like repeating patterns that would indicate that they had like copy pasted them, and we couldn't find any. So
Yeah, there's multiple people in chat saying they can see them and they know exactly where the patterns are. So if you have those, you can email those to news@fpvknowitall.com.
I would love for you to show me the repeating patterns. I've looked and I didn't see any, and neither did Ren, although who knows how long he looked at them. I say 400 is the minimum. 400 is the minimum because in the top-down shots, like these shots, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many, and I counted across, and then I played the shot. I did this shot as well. I played the shot forward and counted how many rows they rolled past. And based on that, and that's a very clear shot, that gives a minimum of about 400. In the wider shot, in the room, it is much harder because, like, you can count here and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But as you get to the back, it gets really indistinct. In the wider shot, my best estimate was around 1,500. But I think that maybe it's really hard to know if that's accurate. So what we have here is a huge number of iFlight drones, whether it's 400 or 1,500 or 300. And we can see in the close-up shot that they're like, look at this shot. Someone has clearly just taken these out of the box. The crossfire antenna is loose and flopping. The props have been put on. You can see there is no prop nut. And if you pay attention, the props have not been installed correctly either in some of the shots. So somebody unpacked these drones. They put them on top of the box. They put them together for the shot, and they made this video. That's my opinion. Whether it's 400 or 1,500 or 200. And people had a really strong reaction.
That's true. Yeah, we got a lot of emails and messages. A lot of people were calling for iFlight boycotts, including there was a Russian video going around from their drone guy saying to boycott iFlight. We should talk to our government and tell them to make sure we don't allow iFlight to sell any drones anymore.
Okay, yeah. And some people from the U.S. Some people are mad that FPV hobby drones are being used to fight in wars. And some people are mad that these drones ended up in what they believe to be the wrong side of the conflict because they support the other side. But a lot of people are mad, and their knee-jerk reaction was boycott iFlight. And I think that reaction is incorrect. And like I said, I've got a video recorded that's going to come out later this week, which is a little bit more in-depth. But for the news, at least, we could talk a little bit about what that is. You know what we should do first, though? We should show iFlight's response. That's fair, because here is iFlight's response. So they made a statement. That's the news. Before we get to the editorial stuff, let's do the newsworthy stuff. So iFlight released this statement. iFlight opposed the combat use of civilian drones. Advocating for peace, we reiterate our longstanding position. They are designed for civilian use only, not for military applications. We do not market or sell for military use. We do not yada, yada, yada. And this, that's fine, but it's largely meaningless. Because as Mr. Huggy points out, they just buy them from a third party. And that, to me, is the takeaway here about this story. And what I really want to get out is, if you just found out that FPV drones are being used on the battlefield, welcome. We've been seeing footage, and you know, we don't usually focus on it on the news, do we, Plenty? We usually...
Right.
Like, why? I mean, I don't know. Why don't we do that? We usually just skip that stuff.
Because it's propaganda. There's no way to know who's right. There's no right answer because it's politics. Everybody has a different opinion. It was a worldwide show. Everybody lives everywhere. There's no reason to cover this stuff all the time and glorify war and killing and stuff with no evidence, no anything. I mean, it just makes no sense. Why would we put that here? That's my opinion.
But there have been, especially since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a lot of footage of FPV drones being used and being weaponized, being used both for reconnaissance and for as weapons for payload delivery. And so if you just now figured out that that's happening, okay, sorry, you know, the veil has come off your eyes. But the reality is that iFlight, I think we can't know whether iFlight sold these drones to these people, but iFlight says that they didn't and wouldn't, and I believe them because they don't have to. Because supply chains and retail delivery are such that if I wanted to do that, I would just go to Banggood and say, Banggood, I'd like to order 100 iFlight Chimera 7s. And Banggood would go to iFlight, and they order so many of them every month because they just sell them all the time. And they would just say, hey, this month we want 150 Chimera 7s, and iFlight would sell it to them, and they don't care who they're selling them to. And I said Banggood's name because Banggood is a major Chinese reseller, but it could be anybody. iFlight has a whole bunch of distributors all over the world and doesn't police who they sell to and can't police who they sell to. And that's just how retail sales work. So to me, the nature of this story is, number one, this is happening. And if you don't like that that's happening, I don't know what you could possibly do about it, but good luck with that. And number two, there's nothing iFlight can really do to prevent this from happening, even if they wanted to. And I assume that they don't care. Like this statement, oh, we don't support the military use of our drones. But as long as we have plausible deniability, we're happy to sell them, I assume is how they feel, when they're not talking to the public. And that's, pretty much everybody's attitude. Yeah, I agree with MCN Pickle. He says, how do they even have that many? 400 is a lot, especially because these are the older V1 Chimera 7. They don't use that crossfire antenna mount anymore. So how do they find hundreds of old V1 Chimera 7s? I have no idea. There you go. So should we boycott iFlight? There's no reason to boycott iFlight, right? I mean,
makes no sense.
Makes no sense. It's
just a lack of understanding of how products work. Just because somebody can get something through a third party, somebody in chat said if 1,500 of them went out, doesn't that mean that something's happening? But then what are you asking them to do? Are you saying if somebody orders over X amount of drones, then you're going to vet that order through your third-party retailer?
How are you going to vet it?
I'm just confused at what, where's the follow-up to that, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how you're going to vet it. There's no way as a reseller you could vet that unless it was such an extraordinarily large order that you obviously had to go, if you really wanted to do it, you could structure the purchases. You could buy 200 from this reseller and 300 from this reseller and so forth. At the end of the day, if somebody says, hey, we want 500 drones, you're happy to sell them. And if you said, hey, you're not selling those to the military, are you? And they go, no, not at all. How are you going to enforce that? It's really impossible to enforce it. Especially because as far as I can tell, this is old stock. So my guess is that someone found this old stock in a warehouse and sold it. And that iFlight manufactured these a year ago or more. I don't know when they stopped selling that version of the Chimera. And so iFlight probably didn't even know they were out there or where they went. Anyway.
Would you mind posting that link to that Twitter in the chat? Since we didn't have it in the show notes, people are asking for it in at least in the Discord.
Yes, I can do that. Oh, you know what, Blunty? Shoot, I didn't update the show notes. I need to do that real quick.
You want to add? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Can I just give them? I can't give them the Google Doc. Yeah, we were so busy talking before the stream. I didn't do that.
Okay, can you post that in the Discord then, or no?
Oh, in the Discord? Sure.
Yep.
One second.
Sorry.
I'm going to real quick update the show notes.
All right, folks, give us just a minute.
Yes.
Make sure you got all the links and information that you need.
Yeah, you need the links. Okay. And we got this. I'm just going to paste that in. Description is too long. What if description too long? Oh, good. It's too long. There's too much. I got to cut it down. I don't want to do that right now because it'll take too long.
All right.
I'm going to just do the first couple, and then I'm going to come back and make the others.
Okay. Yeah, we could. Yeah.
So at least they can get this one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, gotcha.
What's that?
We just don't have that new Twitter link in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm almost there. I have to just put stars in front of everything because you can't do formatted text. Okay. And the new link is this one, and I'm going to get it added. Got it. Save. Done. And it's in the Discord. Boom.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
This is a Russian propaganda video, Flying Brian, not Ukrainian. I believe it's Russian. One more thing I would say, and that is there's a statement from this fella, Sherry Sternenko, who is said to be a guy who builds drones for Ukraine. I have no way of verifying that, but that's what he's said to be. And his statement was basically, look, guys, the only place to get these things is from China. China has not taken a side on this conflict. They sell to everybody. We buy them faster. But if manufacturers see a bunch of hate from the Ukrainian side, then they may find ways to prevent us from getting them. And I think basically everybody should just understand that this is the status quo and shut the fuck up. His words, not mine, not a direct quote. So no backlash on iFlight, unless, I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think there's any reason to put backlash on iFlight, to be honest with you.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, there's no logic in boycotting iFlight over this or caring about iFlight over this. You're never going to prove they sold them if they did. They claim they don't. That's where we're at. There's nowhere else to go. Yeah. Everybody, you can buy drones through whatever channel you want. AliExpress sells to everybody. There's just no logic in trying to boycott a specific company or say that they're responsible for any of this. It makes no sense.
Like you said before the show, that would be like being mad because you saw a Russian or Ukrainian soldier drinking a Coke. Right?
Yeah.
Coke supports the military. Ban Coke. No, they sell the product.
Levi's on. I'm never buying Levi's again.
Yeah, it's different if, like Black Rifle Coffee or something, you explicitly use the military in your advertising and you tie your company brand to the military. And then if someone were to say, well, I don't agree with that association, I'm boycotting your company. But if you just sell a product and it goes into stores and one day someone buys it and uses it for the military, there's nothing you can do about that.